Hello and good morning to you. This is Cliff Graves from the current Train Well Boxing. Now, I say current because we are amidst rebranding. I don't know whether you know, but Google now in 2026 has gone from moderate to stringent, meaning that you have got to be squeaky clean if you want to, on platforms like YouTube, remain. So all the swear words that I've listened to on some YouTube videos, really heavy expletives that there's no need for, calling somebody a C, an effing C, I think is finally Google are catching up with you. So we are rebranding into an exciting brand that I really want to tell you so much about, but we are not at that launch stage yet. Soon, Train Well Boxing will go away and be replaced with something better. So please, 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 if you enjoy these videos, just keep coming back. So let's get straight to it. There are, very sadly, concurrently, some real idiots of what they claim to be self-defense coaches. Probably one of the best I've ever watched here on YouTube, and I won't reveal who the gentleman is, but I've looked at some of the moves very occasionally that this gentleman has shown, and I thought that would work. That would work. Is in fact a UK-based barrister, criminal barrister, who has been at it for years and years and years, folks. So if he don't know, incidentally, I think he's a sixth dan taekwondo. But if he don't know, we are in real trouble on this island. I can't vouch what happens across the pond in the beautiful, lovely states, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, because I don't know their laws. But here, there are, and I'm not an expert or profess to be an expert in criminal law, right? But we have these red tape, almost gates that you have to go through. For instance, you're walking home. Now this is a real life example that I will give you, but I will not name I won't name names. This guy, 6'3", an hard nut from Southern Ireland, who to this day lives in Camden, North London. So he's walking home. He's been to a club, a pub club, and he's had a skinful, but he's streetwise. He can take care of himself. Okay. and he's walking home. If you know Camden, you know what I mean. But he's walking up the high road, and he's walking along where there are shops, and he's walking along the pavement near to the entrance of the shop. All of a sudden, somebody just appears from a shop entrance. Give me your money. Give me your money. Well, he's going to give the money, and he suddenly realizes that he could take this individual, take this individual. So he throws the wallet in his face and he goes like that, and he hook punches him because he'd done a bit of boxing into the belly. And then he proceeds to give him, and I'm not going to use the F word, but he gives him a very, very severe beating. It goes to court. Now, he has his trial by jury. So the judge quickly sums up that this guy acted in lawful self-defense. I think if you're walking down the road at 12:30 at night, and somebody jumps out on you, almost ambush, you are, certainly here in the UK, you are allowed to use preemptive force to defend yourself. But you've got to prove it's self-defense. Could you have run away? Who's to say? The answer to that was no, because he'd had a skinful. There are little jankers in here. Firstly, he had an uphill struggle, proving initially it was self-defense because he'd had a skinful. So certainly in this country, you'll have an uphill struggle if you have consumed alcohol and you are trying to say you acted in self-defense, because the argument is always, oh, there were other options and you didn't know that because you were uninhibited because of your drinking alcohol. But he got that. First stage over. Second stage, did he use excessive force? Did he use excessive violence? And his argument was he was frightened for his life, that the guy would get back up again, pull a knife and stab him to death. So like I say, it was left to 12, the jury, and he got off on both counts. So if your so-called self-defense coach is not teaching you that aspects of the law, walk away. Walk away. Because invariably these people are not teaching you self-defense. These are last resort. An ambush, you haven't got anything to get your geometry protractor out and algebraic formula and work it all out. You've got to act instantaneously, which this kid did. Haven't you? But if I were teaching self-defense, I would kind of categorize it purely for a learning absorption phase. I would teach it like this. I am not saying it works out like this because of the ambush element and other criteria coming in, which we'll discuss in a minute. The best format of self-defense is not to be there. Be sitting indoors within bricks and mortar in your own home, having a cup of tea. But we're not frightened of our own shadows, are we? So we do venture out, don't we? The next thing, which is really, really high up there, is situational awareness. Now, this kid, the example I just told you about, he even now, he's 6'3", over 15 stone, so he's a big lump, and he can fight, like I said. If he goes down the pub and they've got an extension or a club or whatever, and he's walking home, he walks because it's 1, 2 o'clock. He doesn't walk right near the entrances of shop windows. He's walking sort of not right out in the middle of the road, you understand? Because he'd get himself knocked over and probably killed. He's walking away from the entrance. So he's sort of like walking in the gutter of the curb sort of thing. So he's now ready that if he needs to run off, he runs off. He's looking, he's listening, he's attentive, he's assertive, he's vigilant. So you use situational awareness, don't you? If you're drinking in a pub and 5 geezers come in that look like trouble and you think, oh, I don't like the look of this. Finish your pint, say to your mates, come on, let's go down the road. And you go down the road to another pub. You use situational awareness. The third one, and I stress, these superimpose on each other, a lot of these, and they're not in these order, but just for explanation purposes only. That's how we explain it. The next one is run away. It is far, far better to be a live coward, isn't it? And get home to your family safely than try and save the issue and not run away. Now, we've all heard this. If it's under 15 meters, I think it is. I stand corrected if I've got it wrong. But if somebody were to draw a knife out on you and you turn and you run away, they can catch you up and then stab you straight through the back. Instead of into the front, they're stabbing you in the back, straight away through the rib cage, possibly getting you in the lungs or the heart, more than likely. But what happens if you're Linford Christie and the other guy's an old knacker? Can you run away? I'd put money on it that you'd be successful. So running away does always have to be an option to consider, a reactive option. You're ambush, bang, you're off, you're gone. And that happened to me. Somebody pulled a knife out of me as we was leaving a pub. Blah, 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 can I get you? Well, what did I do? I pegged it off, and it was in the car park, so I was able to get to a car, and he won't get me. Somebody call the police! I'm shouting out, police are on the way. As I'm darting round this car, and this guy is trying to help me. The good Lord was on my side that time, because if he'd had somebody else, I would have been done. So run away if you can. If you can. You wouldn't be able to run away if you had your girlfriend with you, or your boyfriend, or your mum, or your dad, elderly mum, or your dad with you, would you? You're on a slippery wicket, but you're going to have to fight back. The next one is talk down. And the one following it, I'm going to include as well. Pick up an equalizer, a makeshift weapon. There could be a skip nearby where you pick up something from the skip, a bit of scaffold pole or anything. But why I say those two are closely interrelated, and they could become your primary one. This is why these are not necessarily in soldier-like, military-like order format. You try and talk it down, don't you? You try and talk it down. And this is why I say, if you've picked up a bit of scaffold pole, for instance, there's some workers, they've been doing some roofing, and there's a scaffold skip there available. Now do you call their bluff? Do you say, well, right, you fancy your chances, do you? One way. Or you're compliant. Here you are, look, there you are. You give them the wallet and all the rest of it, and you're compliant. But then again, things come into it, don't they? Because if you're, sadly, and I do say this sadly, if you're a female, then the objective is to drag you to a secondary, take control, drag you to a secondary location, which they will know where they're going to go, take you, and then rape you. And the final one is fight and use physical violence. Physical violence. And that doesn't matter what it is, does it? It doesn't matter if somebody's broken into your home and you wake up and you hear them coming up the stairs and you grab, I don't know, a pillow, and they come and you crack right round the face. Bang! Because they don't know your home in the dark. You have the advantage. So suddenly, all of a sudden, bang, this pillow's gone round. You might think, pillow? But it shocks them. Then you boot them and they go flying down the stairs, giving you a chance to dial 999. So the last option is the one that we just don't want to go to. And I do think that if you utilize specifically the art of not be there and situational awareness, 98% of violent altercations will be nullified, done, finished, over with. However, when a self-defense coach says street fighting, what do they mean by street fighting? They mean exactly that. fighting in the street. And if the police come along and arrest you and there's more than two, you will get nicked for a fray. You could get nicked for ABH, GBH, whatever. And now you are looking at much longer prison sentences. And I've been to prison for exactly that when I was a much younger man. I'm now 62. Reverse those digits round when I was 26, and it was different. So I'm telling you from pure experience. From pure experience. So what is it you want? Street fighting or self-defense? Do you want to be the most accomplished fighter in a pub? Then it should be street fighting. Go and learn Thai boxing. Go and learn Thai boxing. If, however, it is not street fighting, but pure, unadulterated self-defense, then you've got to change it all around. Change your thinking all around. Because there's all the different sort of things that happen with self-defense. And thankfully, not many of us have actually had to deal with self-defense, true self-defense. Police officers, a daily occurrence. Door staff, security staff, quite often. But for the civilian and military personnel, but for the civilian, very, very rare. Very, very rare. So when we look at the physical part of it all, it's what works at the time to stop the threat of assault, violent assault rate continuing. And you are allowed, if by chance there's a skip parked in the roadway where roofers have been doing work and there happens to be a bit of scaffold pole, a brick, a stone. There might even be some concrete that you can throw the dust into the eyes or anything like that. You are, certainly in this country, you are allowed to do it if you can prove you had no other option. That's the self-defense side sorted. Then you have to be like the SAS and the SBS. They are able to switch it on, switch it off. A police officer would be the same. They might have been to a violent murder scene and then they're going back home to their family. We have to be able to switch it on and then switch it off. And that is very difficult to do because pride comes into it. The indignation of it. I'm going to teach you a lesson kind of scenario. But that is where it all goes tits up. And you find yourself in the dock and you find yourself fighting for your liberty. So in closing, if one of these so-called which probably has never experienced even a street fight, let alone a self-defense situation. I have. You know, if they're categorizing it as street fighting, walk away. Walk away. Keep your money tightly in your skyrocket. Keep your hard-earned shekels tight on you, because they ain't doing you no favors. You need to find a self-defense instructor, coach, instructoress who is half sensible, who will teach you all aspects of criminal law that you need to be aware of, will teach you the elementals of applying self-defense, which we all know if you suddenly jumped an ambush, it's all bets are off. And will finally teach you stuff which you if they grabbed you, what are they going to do? Somebody's grabbed you around the neck from behind. What are you going to do? They've got you like this. They're trying to pull you down onto the ground. All different things like this you will be taught. And I just want to leave you and say this. With the correct coach to hand, teaching you true, unadulterated self-defense, remember this. It is better to be sent down by 12 than carried out by 6. This is Cliff Grays from Trainwell Boxing Limited. I hope I've given you some value. Take it easy. Keep safe.